Welcome to Great Talking Entertainment. I'm your host, KJ, and this is the podcast where we review movies and TV shows from all your favorite superheroes, including Marvel Comics, DC Comics, and much more. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment official channel. Now let's go, baby! Welcome back, everyone, as we continue on for the episode 4 spoiler review for the new Disney Plus series, Ahsoka. This is a spoiler review, so thank you so much for following, and we're going to continue on reviewing this. And again, if you have not seen this show, pause, give me a thumbs up, go watch episode 1, 2, 4, come back, check out all my spoiler reviews for this series, and definitely subscribe and follow this YouTube channel for more. So, y'all been warned. Let's get into it. Episode 4 continues on where episode 3 ending. Huyang is repairing the spaceship, and while Ahsoka and Saban head off to battle the Sith Lords, we get a little comment by Huyang where he says, "You guys do better when you work together," and they laugh about it and then go on, and it seems like they had everything going right until we get some awesome Star Wars lightsaber battles between them and the other Sith Lords. We get multiple of these, and I definitely enjoyed those battle scenes just because of the reason it felt like a traditional Star Wars Jedi movie. Like, it was good. I enjoyed it. And, you know, again, I love watching The Mandalorian. I like watching Han Solo and Andor. Characters like those who are not Jedis, but they're really good with the laser guns and stuff. I enjoyed that because, yes, Star Wars is like a mixture of a samurai storytelling and obviously Western cowboys type movies. So I get that, but it's science fiction. I get it. But I definitely like seeing this show, just like Obi-Wan Kenobi, because obviously the lightsaber battles are my favorite things. And I love the one thing about Star Wars, I just like the Jedi stories. So I like all Star Wars stories, of course. So this has really just got me episode 4 really just got me really into it, really excited to watch these. So it definitely felt like that for me. And we never got the true identity of Marok, but after Marok was defeated and he turned to a green dust, and I thought that was crazy because, like, Marok was like, well, his lightsaber is kind of like Darth Maul in the sense because it's I think it is a double lightsaber, but he can connect the two lightsabers and make it look like a long stick type. He was wielding it. He had it spinning. He was like, this character was just killing it. But obviously, Ahsoka is a lot better, and she beat him, or her, whoever Marok was. So I feel like I wish they had an identity, but it did shut down the theory of it could be Ezra or Jar Jar Binks. And let me just say this: Ezra, okay, I could be okay with that just because he's like one of the main characters from Star Wars Rebels, and he's heavily connected with Ahsoka and Saban just because of those facts. But Jar Jar Binks, like, if Star Wars really wanted Jar Jar Binks, they're gonna do it. But I don't think they would ever make Jar Jar Binks evil, and I just think he's just a silly character in the Star Wars universe or the mind of George Lucas. So I just don't think there's any. I don't really just honestly don't believe they'll ever do Jar Jar Binks like that. If they were going to use Jar Jar Binks, I think they would just use him in a goofy, silly way, like they always have and will. That's just my opinion on that. Within this whole plot of this episode, we see that Saban and Ahsoka are still struggling to work together, and both of them are struggling with like an emotional desire of resistance, anger, happiness, sadness, everything that you just can't do or you got to learn how to control to be a Jedi. Because again, to be a true Jedi, you can't have those because again, if you do, well, you end up going to the dark side, just like Anakin and any Sith lords in Star Wars history. And like for Ahsoka, she just struggles with the idea of she still resents the Jedi because she was heartbroken by Anakin. And then Saber, and she seems like she's very in love with Ezra, and I get the idea of it. It's she's just in love with him, and it seems like I didn't think they would ever go that route because if you watch Star Wars Rebels, it kind of hinted it, but it's made for kids. They don't really relay on that, but for this, I think they're kind of go that because she couldn't shoot the map, even though Ahsoka was like, man, shoot the map, before she fell off the cliff. She just didn't. She gave herself up to Babylon Skull and Shin, and she got captured. And they made a deal where, hey, if you don't do this, well, I'll take it to Ezra and I'll keep my word. And what I think about that is there's something, a plot to that. Like, I know he's helping that woman named Morgan, who's a witch in the Star Wars universe, one of the witches that you probably heard about, but we see them successfully make this jump because even like Hela and some of the Rebels members and a familiar character that you see from the Mandalorian and stuff, and Obi-Wan Kenobi, I believe. You see him show up, and they failed to beat this giant spaceship, giant circle ring, and it was it was just one of those things. But it's because I think again, it's just their emotions with it, but it's the idea of like even Hela, deeply inside, she just wants to find Ezra, and she's pretty convinced that Thawne is alive. Like she just knows in her heart that dude's alive, and once you find Ezra, you're gonna find him. And they're both willing to put the whole Star Wars galaxy, both versions, in danger to find Ezra, while Ahsoka is trying to make sure things stay the same where they're at now, where there's no Empire, there's no Jedis, there's no Sith Lords, but you can see both sides, the good and evil, are coming back. It's starting over again in the sense, like, maybe not with Luke Skywalker, maybe not, but we'll get deeper into that theory. But we see that, and they make it, and then at the end, we see Ahsoka waking up where she stands in this place where it's like a bridge, and I think she may be in a time, between time, kind of like if you watch the Loki series, where Loki and the female Loki were kind of like in a timeline where the TVA, where they're in a gray area where time moves differently, and I think that's where she's at because she sees the ghost of Anakin, aka Darth Vader, and obviously it ends in a pitch dark where it has the Darth Vader dramatic theme music. So I thought that was cool. So let's get into some topics with this. Let's talk about Sabrin. So when I said earlier where I think she realized she's been in love with Ezra, I think that's what's going to be her downfall. And love is blind, basically, and she's not being rational about anything. She's just kind of just giving up because she really wants, but she doesn't have a plan. Like, she thinks that this is all going to work itself out, but it might not. She can't trust these people. She can't, the Sith Lord. She can't trust Morgan. She can't trust Shin. Like, they have their own agenda, which I think Babylon Skull and Shin have a different plan. I think Shin is questioning her master, and I think Babylon, I think he I know the actor in real life passed away, which is saddened. But I think the idea, if you just look at this plot, I think he has a different idea. And maybe, I know he's looking for Thawne, but what is his reason of finding Thawne and what does he want to do? I think his plan, and the Morgan, who's one of the witches of the Jedi Knights, I think he has a different outcome of it that he wants to happen versus what Morgan wants. And I think Shin, I think Shin's going to is going to turn her ways around. I think her and Saber are going to become good friends. I think they actually like each other, respect each other in a sense. But I think they're doing what they have to do to each other. Like, they're not going to hold back punches. Like, Shin was really into choke her out with the Force. But Saber would do the same thing. If she could use the Force, she'd choke her out, Shin out. And she might shoot her, stab her, whatever, right? They're willing to do that stuff to each other, like, because they understand they stand on two different sides, obviously, but I think those two, and this is why I'm hoping these characters don't die. I think these characters they deserve a spin-off or their own show, like Ahsoka, The Mandalorian, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and so forth. I think there's potential with Shin, Saber. I think a Star Wars Rebels live action could be a thing. Maybe, I don't know. But I think there's something more. I think everybody has a different view on how this outcome's going to be, and we're seeing these characters because nobody's really working together, and we don't know who's running the New Republican, who's the big bad boss. Who really wants Thawne. Where's Morgan getting all this information, and who's aligned with who, basically. And that's what I got out of episode 4, personally, with that. Let's talk about the second galaxy. Again, I think this is a new beginning. I think this is just Disney's way and the Star Wars company's franchise to reboot the whole series, but without, like, it might be considered a quote-unquote I'm doing the quotation airs. I know you can't see it, but I think they're going to keep the actors and actress within the Disney Plus series, keep that, but retell the story of Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker, so forth, with different actors, actresses, and all that, because I think the second galaxy is just another way of rebooting the whole Star Wars franchise / universe, and tell the whole Star Wars story with the classic Star Wars characters, tell it again, but keep what they did with the Mandalorian, Andor, Obi-Wan Kenobi in this series. So that's what I think. Like, obviously it's not set in stone. Nobody's really talking about it, but that's what I think, because I think like this director is trying to take other Star Wars stories from novelties and trying to make it canon in the current Star Wars universe. That's what I think. But I could be wrong. Now let's talk about Anakin Skywalker, aka Darth Vader. Here's my theory about this. I think this is about good versus evil. I think this is about Ahsoka finally confronting her feelings and saying how she really feels. And I think this is going to be I think episode 5 is going to be the episode where she finally finds closure and she's going to make peace with it. She's either going to go on the good side or the bad side. Like, it is what it, like, it ain't changing. Like, this is gonna be it. We're gonna finally understand Ahsoka, and we're gonna see what path she's gonna go on. Now, typically, it's real easy to say she's probably gonna be on the good side, but could she go on the bad side? I would say Ahsoka evil. I would say no. I just can't see them doing that. I think that would ruin the whole. That would just ruin the show. Like, you can't. I think they got to find out. I think Ahsoka's got to be the hero. I think she's got to be the new leader, the new face of the Jedi way. Just like, like in The Mandalorian. Grogu is going to be the face of the Mandalorians and a couple others, but they establish where the Mandalorians stand. We understand what the Mandalorian way is now. We understand this new generation of the Mandalorians. We have Sabrin. The idea of having a Mandalorian wield a lightsaber. There's plenty of room for multiple Mandalorians to be in that category who can wield a lightsaber. Why could Sabrin not be one of them? We also, again, with Ahsoka, she needs to be she's going to be the Luke Skywalker of this generation of the Jedi way. She's going to be the Yoda. Wise, very knowledgeable. She's going to put structure in this. She's going to teach a new generation of Jedis the way maybe Luke Skywalker couldn't. Because they just need to. And obviously in timeline, this is kind of like before the Star Wars the Star Wars films that they made in the future, in the present time. So we don't really know where she's at in that. And again, I just love this episode, but it gives an idea of where they're going with that. And again, I think this show was made to ease into the audience to say, hey, we're going to, we're going to do some reboots and we're going to change things up. And I think that's okay. It's okay. I'm down for it. I'm open-minded about it. So if I had to give this episode 1 out of 10, I'm definitely giving it an 8. Great story. I like the cliffhanger just because of Darth Vader, aka Anakin Skywalker, and this is such a good series so far, and I cannot wait for the next episode. So that's my review. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment official channel. Subscribe, hit that notification button so you can always be updated with all my latest content. Thank you and peace.